Okay, Robert has a question here about making a workspace using a 240-minute chart, a 12,000 tick, and a 60-minute, with the execution chart being on the 1 minute. And he's trying to use the readers, and it's a bit confusing, so I'm going to build one from scratch right now. So I'm going to open a new workspace, save this as just whatever, 4 charts test. I'll do the 240-minute. Let's do gold. 240, and I'll use 3,000 bars and add the 240-minute chart template, TTP1 240-minute, and then do a 12,000 tick. I'll do 3,000 bars there, and I'll add the higher time frame tick chart template, 1 HDF tick chart. Wait for this one to finish loading. And now a 60-minute. $3,000 bars. Add the 60-minute chart template, and then a 1-minute chart. And I'll add, do 3,000 bars on this one too, but I'll add a 30-second chart template. And this is using the raw volume. All right, so the normal real volume, not relative volume, but the raw volume with the volume analyst. So this is the raw volume, the total number of actual contracts traded, not relative volume, but the raw volume. So that's a 1 minute, an hourly, 12,000 tick, and a 240-minute. So now I'll put these in the corners, and I'll add BloodHound to the 1 minute chart. Okay, so what we want is the reader, the MG reader indicators in the threshold solver. Okay, so MG reader, we'll set this one to the 12,000 tick. And do I want to use the bar from the 1 minute chart that's touching the area, or from the 12,000 tick? I'll use the chart that the reader is on, which is the 1 minute chart. Okay, so that means that if there's a 1 minute bar that's touching that area, it will get the signal. But if I use the higher time frame bar, for instance a 240-minute bar that's touching an area, then I'll get a signal for all 240 1-minute bars. And I don't want to do that. I just want to signal the bars on the 1 minute chart that are actually touching the area from the 240-minute chart. I don't want to signal an entire 240-minute bar. I just want the bars that would be touching the area, that would be considered to be touching the area from the 1 minute chart. Okay, that'll become a little more clear as we go on. So since this is a 12,000 tick, maybe I'll use like 5 or 6 ticks. We'll use 6 ticks. Do I want to set the direction based on slope? So that means if it's a down sloping line, I would get a short. If it's up sloping, I would get a long. I would say no. Do I want to set signal based on price action? We can set that one to true, so that if it's coming down to an area, we get a long. If it's going up to an area, we get a short. Do I want to only look at upsloping baselines or downsloping? I'm going to leave all that to either. Do I need the baseline above or below the auto line? I'll leave that at either. Do I want to only read upsloping or downsloping lines? I'll leave that to either. And just set the direction based on price action. Maximum, minimum slopes, I'll leave that to false. let's say that we want baselines, the first auto line, which is the first channel line. We'll leave all of the warning lines set to false, so just the baseline and the auto line. And when it comes to the median lines, I'm going to use something a little bit different for those. Let's just use the baseline and the auto line for right now for this one. Okay, so that's 12K tick base and auto lines. So if it's touching the area that's upsloping, I get a positive 1. If it's touching an area that's downsloping, I get a negative 1. So long output will be 1. Short output will be 1 when it's equal to negative 1. All right, now let's copy that, and we'll set this one to upper and lower median lines, but in this case, yeah, we'll set the direction based on price action, but we'll also set the direction based on slope. So I only want upsloping lower median lines for long and downsloping. So I only want longs from upsloping lines and shorts from downsloping lines. So I'll set that to true. Okay, now set baseline to false, auto line to false, and then upper median line and lower median line. Okay, I'm not going to get any signals from the center median line because a lot of times you'll have bars that'll go back and forth between that center median line, but when it comes in contact with its channel line and there's a bar touching both of those, I'll show you how to signal those as well. I'm not worried about the shift median lines, just worried about the normal median lines for right now. So lower, upper, okay. Now these are upper median line and lower median line. All right, so now I'll copy that, and then this one I'll use the reader signals to identify a bar that's touching two lines at the same time. MG signals reader, 12,000 tick, and in this case I will use the bar from the source chart because I want to identify that bar that's touching both the center median line and the channel line. So I will use that. I'll set this to about 2.5 ticks. And I want lines from the same market geometry. So that means I want, actually we can include multiple different areas that are touching at the same time. We could include the baseline with the warning lines from the median lines. I'll just turn all of these on. Except for the midlines and the kiss goodbye lines, I'll just use the warning lines and the first auto line. Yep, and that's it. Okay, so this is any two lines, same MG. It's multiple different combinations. So for instance, here, let's see, maybe, yeah, right there we have two bars that are touching both the center median line and the channel line. You see that? So now I'll create a logic board and add that here. And if we go back, those bars are these bars right in here that are touching. So because that's a historical signal, with the new readers, we've added a BloodHound notify. See, notify BloodHound. You see the tooltip there? Notify BloodHound. So when I click on this and then click on the chart, it will reload those bars inside of BloodHound. So you don't have to do that for incoming bars, for new bars that are coming in live. You just have to do this for historical bars. Okay, so I click on there, click on the chart, and there are the bars that are touching both of those two lines there. Okay, so it's signaling both of these bars, and that could take up, you know, any number of minutes bars over here on the 1 minute. So what I can do now is combine these into an OR node so that if we're touching either a baseline or an auto line, or upsloping or downsloping median lines, or we have a bar that's touching two lines at the same time that are created by the same market geometry, then we'll get those signals. There we go. So now any of those will come through. And then I just want to reproduce those. I just want to copy them and then make one for the 240 minute. And then change the source chart to the 240 minute. I'll leave it set to 6 ticks. And then copy these again. And this will be the hourly. It's 60 minute. Change the source to an hourly. And then connect these to an OR node for the 240 minute, and then for the hourly. And then if you want all three of these areas, you want, a bar to be touching all three, an area from all three of these charts, then we would combine that with an AND node. So this will be your entry, and this will be, what was it, 4 charts test. Okay, so now we have an area from the 12,000 tick there. Looks like we have an area from the 240 minute. I don't know if 6 ticks is going to be enough. Catch that one. 91.2. No, not quite. It might now, but let's change it to like, or 8 ticks. I'll change these two anyway. I'll leave the MG signals reader set to 6. Okay. So now we have two areas, one from 12,000, one from the 240 minute. And let's see if we have one from the hourly now. Yes, we actually have the same areas that we have on the tick charts here, but let's do a different one. Let's do a baseline from low to low, and that's coming in on those bars there. But the difference being that because I have the readers inside the 1 minute chart set to use the bar from the reader chart, some of these 1 minute bars might actually be below that line. So let's reload BloodHound with the Notify BloodHound button. So I click on the button, click on the chart. Okay, and now we are getting the signal on that bar right there, but let's look inside and see what kind of signals we're getting out of the hourly chart right there. So 60-minute base and auto lines. Yeah, I'm getting the signals right in here. Those are pretty big 1-minute bars. Yeah, but I'm not getting the signals in here, you see? So if I change that to access the bar from the source chart, the hourly bar, see, I get signals everywhere here, all the way back into here. Looks like these two bars were within 6 ticks of that baseline, or at least that, yeah, these two bars. So that's why I set it to use the bar from the reader chart. And there we go. So now when you connect all those together, you have it all coming together right there for that 1-minute chart. And then I can reload it and see what the volume looked like there. And then, you know, you can add in your volume signals or what have you. So if I wanted to include volume divergence there, then I can just add that to it. But in this case, we're not actually getting the signal right here. So we would need to be able to get that signal, and it looks like we would have to combine it like this, and then we would be able to get those signals. So let's see. Now I'll reload it so we can see the historical signals. And there we go. Now we're getting the signals on all of these bars that are down at the bottom here. Okay, so now you could combine it with the divergence and the volume divergence, or, you know, whatever. Okay, so that's at least one example there. The reader value indicator is for use inside of Blackbird. Okay, so that's really the only use for that reader value indicator inside of Blackbird to attach orders to those lines. Those reader value indicators actually give you the price, the exact price of each line. So for instance, if I have the MG value reader, and we'll just use the one from the 240-minute chart, and I'll access the baseline and the auto line. It's going to use whichever one is closest to the current price. And there it is at the bottom. You see? So that's showing us the price of, in this case, the price of the auto line right there. And then back here, it's showing us the price of the baseline. Okay, so that's what that reader value or value reader is for attaching orders to lines inside of Blackbird. All right, so that's it.